Hey, I've got an important question for you. Which way is the wind blowing? And maybe even how hard? As a pilot, which way the wind is going is a big, big deal. It doesn't matter what you're flying, whether it's a helicopter or a hot air balloon or an airplane or a seaplane. Whatever it is, the wind direction and speed are going to matter. And the FAA knows that. So they're going to ask you questions on the FAA written test, which they call the knowledge test, about wind direction and the decisions you make because of it. Before we go any further, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, click like, because you know you're going to like it, and join me and the kids here at Mad Props Aero, and let's get into this right now. There's two graphics you're going to see on the FAA written test that pertain specifically to wind direction. Now, in real life, we have a lot of information really coming to us from all sides that tell us wind direction. We might see a smokestack from a factory, and where the smoke is going and how high it rises tells us which direction and how fast. Maybe there's a car dealer with an enormous flag right out front. We'll be able to see that. Believe it or not, if you look at the surface of a lake, you can tell the direction of the wind and to a large degree the speed of the wind just from looking at the surface of the water. But that's not what the FAA is going to ask us about. They're going to ask us about two very specific wind direction devices that unfortunately trip up a lot of people because they indicate wind direction in exactly the opposite directions. The first one is a tetrahedron. You can see that right here. The tetrahedron has a weird triangular shape, but you'll notice it has a line down the middle of it. You don't see tetrahedrons too often in real life anymore. They differ from a windsock in this respect. They point in the direction the wind is coming from. The pointy end shows you the direction the wind is coming from. That's exactly opposite of this, a windsock, which shows you the direction the wind is going to. Remember, the wind will go in the big end of a windsock, out the little end, so it actually points in the direction the wind is going. The tetrahedron is the exact opposite. In real life, the danger of a tetrahedron is when the wind dies, it continues pointing wherever it was before. Whereas a windsock, it just kind of falls limp. Looks a little like this. It's not doing anything, so that tells us we have a calm wind. But on that FAA written test, we're going to have these two graphics to choose from, and we're going to have to decide which runway are we using based on the information that windsock or that tetrahedron is giving us. That's a big deal because if you don't remember that they read in opposite directions, you might mistake one for the other. Because let's face it, you're nervous. You're trying to do well on the test. You're trying to make sure you get done before the time limit expires. Don't worry, you will. It'll be fine. Just notice that the tetrahedron points to where the wind is coming from, and the windsock points to where the wind is going. Thanks so much for being here today. Click on the like if you like this. I hope you learned something. And feel free to subscribe to the channel because you never know what's coming up next right here on Mad Props Aero. I'll see you next time.